since we saw each other.
I know. How are you doing before I let
Yeah,
everyone
so
in?
yeah, you know what, the rest is having a rest has been good.
Yeah.
I had 7 days now of resting and I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah, love it.
You're loving it.
I couldn't remember how it's like to rest. Yeah, yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm enjoying the rest too, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
It's
I bet. Yeah, to be honest, yeah. It's
it's nice not to
we
have any.
needed it.
Yeah, we did need it. We did need it. It's nice not to have anything to worry about in terms of training too much at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I didn't know how it's going to be like after I finish. And I was like, how am I gonna continue to train straight away? Am I gonna like have a rest? How long I'm gonna rest for? It's like it was all
Yeah.
questions in my head and I didn't know how I was gonna go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. Hi, MJ. Hi, Alice.
Hey,
Hiya.
hey.
Hey, hey.
Hi guys.
Thanks for
Everyone
joining.
good?
Yeah. Yeah. You?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Always good.
Always good. Always bringing the positivity, Lisa.
Yep, yep.
Now, Dio, it's really just really informal. You've seen these Q&As before. So, there's nothing that we're going to ask you that is going to make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe just reminiscing about maybe some of the more uncomfortable runs that you've had. But, the whole point of this BTR member Q&A is to really get more of an insight into members of our community. And ever since kind of I've known you, ever since you joined, you've been a kind of beacon in terms of running, in terms of your values, your mission. And I kind of just want to start from just taking it really back to basics, because I think when you do a run streak like yours, people assume that you've kind of been a hardcore runner for forever. So can you just take us back to kind of being a kid, and how did you kind of come across running? Did you run as a kid?
Oh, good question. Yeah. Um, I hated running. I absolutely hated it. It was very much a form of punishment, like when you're in school. It's thinking back and you just felt like, you're playing football and all you want to do is play football and then you mess up at some point. At the end, tell you to do laps around the football pitch. You're like, oh gosh, I gotta do like 10 laps around the football pitch. It's just a form of punishment and I hated it. I just couldn't think of anything worse. Skip anything but except for running, except for running. Um, and to think back because we had like I wasn't even though I played football quite a lot, I wasn't a good runner. And I had lots of other kids who were really quicker than me, and I always knew I was going to end up being the last one, on the finish line. So that's another thing which I hated it because there's so much people who are a lot faster than I am in school, and you never like on sports days you never get picked for running. So you just think of it like, what, it's just that thing, you run and you don't care about it. And I'm never thought for myself actually going out in future to be doing this and actually loving running. Yeah.
What was the change point? I don't know with you as a kid, but I certainly know as a woman or a girl of color, people kind of expected me to be able to run really fast, and when I couldn't, I can remember a teacher saying to me, kind of, well, almost looking at me, well, what can you do? So when was I'm not a Dina Asher Smith, but when was that where was that shift point for you? Where did you go from? Maybe it didn't happen as a kid, but where did the shift happen in terms of your running?
I guess the shift didn't happen until I was in my early 20s. Yeah, my early 20s where it happened. I don't even think it was a shift, to be honest. It was a form of like wanting to or having to do it because I mean in a podcast I did, I talked about condition which I have, and it's been going on for quite a long time. So I have a condition which is related to like homeostasis. So my body doesn't regulate body temperature properly. So it means that if, for example, I'm not training for some time, my body temperature rise, the body in my heat and my body temperature gets trapped in the body, and it doesn't know how to release or get out. So like in most people, when you get temperature, your body heats, you get these factors where your body starts to sweat, and maybe to have to take some layers and all that kind of stuff. So my body doesn't do that. My body doesn't sweat naturally. So in a way, I have to find a way to force my body to sweat. If I can't get it to sweat, so let's say if I didn't train for 4 weeks, for example, what happens is all the heat gets trapped in the body, and I can feel it. I get overheated too quickly. I could be sitting in a room like here talking to you, and then I get like a reaction, a skin reaction, a body reaction. And then, the body temperature rises to like almost dangerous levels. My head feels like it's going to explode and all that kind of things. So I had to find, after many, many years of going to the doctor and going to the skin, every single person can feel like a professional. They couldn't figure out what was the issue. But somehow in the back of my mind, I had the idea that maybe if I was to like, let's say, go for a run or force my body to like do some form of activity to make my body sweat or force my body to sweat, then that I can overcome that, that condition. And then I think that's when the shift started in my mind, is that I started by walking and then doing little runs in the house, up and down the stairs, with bottles of water, one top of the house and the bottom of the house, so if I get overheated, I can just pour it over my head or drink it. And this is like really cold water. So yeah, that's how it started. And then I just started running around the block in my house, around my house, and doing gradually and gradually and gradually. And then I progressed further and further. And I saw there's a change within my body. My body started to like naturally sweat. I could be able to be in like a bit of a hotter environments. Like for example, during summer times, I wouldn't be able to go out. Before that, I would be inside the house all the time. And I spent four summers in the house all the time, trapped in the house, until I managed to start running, and that shift changed. So I think that's how it changed and it happened.
So it really happened, that journey to running happened following the diagnosis of your condition, early 20s.
Yeah.
Had the medical professionals said to you had they advised that you start doing some form of activity which might naturally make you sweat, or was that your own thought process that made you go and do that?
It was all my own thought process. I think when you go to medical professionals, usually you go there when you're feeling, when you're not at your worst. So that's the only time you get to be able to see them. So they never get to properly see you at your worst period, or they never get to really experience it in that bad state that you'll be in. A lot of the time, whenever I went to the doctors, I had to go there when I'm okay, because otherwise I couldn't go there, or they couldn't come and see me. But I believe that obviously, like in doctors and so on, they have a tendency not to look at the back story, what you're eating, what your activity levels are, your lifestyle, and they just tend to prescribe medicine to you. If there's any doctors on this on this call, sorry about that. That's the way. That's my experience. But yeah, that's the way it is.
You talk about lifestyle, and actually one thing I know about you, Deo, is that you're vegan. So when was the transition to veganism, did that happen around that time where you were trying to manage your illness, or did that come after?
It came much later, the transition, but I started looking at my diet during that period. So the first things I was looking at is what I was eating. For me, I've never ate like meat in terms of like, four-legged animals. The only kind of meat I would eat was chicken and, seafood. But never in my life I've ever been able to eat like meat because my body doesn't tolerate it. And but during that period I started to look at what my body was missing, and because I've never been able to eat the meat, I started to look at like maybe I should start eating meat, or maybe I should just start to look at things that I'm eating, take things out slowly, or try to incorporate other things in there. So from there, I was just like trying to play around with what my diet and trying to play around with the way I was eating. And then I kind of went on to being a vegetarian before going on to vegan.
I mean, I'm inspired by, we spent 2 weeks ago in Scotland together, and I got to see firsthand the type of good stuff that you put in your body. You and Leroy Valentine, two of my nutrition kind of heroes. Do you believe, kind of continuing in that kind of vegan, kind of plant-based sphere, do you believe that what's your kind of feeling about kind of what you put in your body and therefore what you get out? Because you've just come off the run of 381 Run for Justice, and that run streak, the amount of physical and mental energy required there. A couple of questions on this. One, how do you get enough of the protein, carbohydrate, the good stuff in you? Secondly, what's your planning like in order to do that? And what benefits do you see in your, I guess, in your trail running or in your running endeavors that might be as a result of your vegan diet?
I guess like the easy answer would be like there's a lot of benefits from it, from going, eating a plant-based diet and understanding how the type of foods that you put in your body, how they affect it, or how they, what kind of returns they give you. Because coming from a vegetarian diet to a vegan diet is not much difference apart from obviously the fats that you may be taking from, let's say, like from seafood and so on. But what I realized is that if I was to eat like certain types of food, like only let's say, because people mostly associate with veganism is salads all the time. That's what they think is vegan is. So example, if I was to just eat salads, I wouldn't be as productive as I am. I wouldn't get enough energy. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I am doing right now. So understanding exactly how to get the right types of nutritions from different types of food, and especially like protein. Protein is, you can get it from so many different types of plants, all the nuts and all the other types of, especially nuts, beans and all that kind of stuff. So knowing the types of food you can combine to be able to get all the full nutritions that you don't miss out from, like, for example, like what somebody who eats everything has. As simple as, like, let's say you combine beans and rice, you get the the amino acids that you need in your body. So those, like, little things that you just kind of play around with. And of course, as well, understanding your body, how it moves or how it operates, when you do need to eat, when you shouldn't be eating, or when you do need to eat, fuel up exactly as much as possible. My activity levels is very high. So I eat a lot. I'm always constantly trying to snack on something. Always trying to fuel up as much as possible. And so it takes some time to actually figure it out properly.
I think I could talk to you for hours about that. I know that you're a personal trainer. Again, when did you qualify as a personal trainer, and was that decision part of this journey that you seem to be on, to understand your body, how it works, what you put in it? Because, you know, what you've done with the 381 streak, what you do with your body, you know, having witnessed what you can do with your body while we were in Scotland, there's a real understanding that I see in you as to what your capabilities are, where you can take them, and how to get the most out of your body. So when did you decide to become the personal trainer, and how has that education helped you to be the runner that you are today?
I decided back in late 2018 to be a personal trainer, and started to go on this journey of trying to educate people on how the benefits of, you know, being healthy, and you know, how far you can push your body, let's say, and what you can do with your body. And because there's a lot of talk, like people being told that, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you know, and sometimes you're like, for example, you're being a vegan, you're told you can't push your body to this extent of running 381 days, or you can't do that because of this. So, and obviously because of my background with my condition, I know that there's always different ways of, you know, taking training to a new level, and also different ways from just always going to the medical side, not always going to the medical side of, because if you have a condition, should you go down the route of find the doctor, you know, get prescribed antidepressants and all these medicines, or should you go to the route of, like, let me find a way to be fitter, to get healthier without having to take some kind of medicine and be dependent on that. So I think I took it from that side, where it's like there's always a different route than the medical side, and they just trying to get medicine into your body and just relying on it. I wanted to make sure that people know and can learn about their body, can really understand the food they put into their body, the nutrition, how to move properly. It all impacts them. It all impacts the way you move. And living for life, you know, it's not just about living for today and just think, like, you know, worry about later. Fitness is about life. It's about how long you can be active for. I want to be 100 years old and still be able to say I can run. You know, I can run for a half marathon at least. Yeah.
I see you there, Deo.
Yeah.
I see you on those, those little running memes you get of the 100 or the older age group athletes, and I see you there doing it.
I will be there.
You will be there. I know it. Deo, can you
And I'm
remember?
sure you'll be there with me.
I will. I'll be behind you, just like we were in the Ramsay, but I'll be focusing on you. Can you remember the first ever trail race you did?
Oh, yeah, yes. I do. Is the Thames Path. I think this also gives back memories for mountain. The Thames Path going down from was it Putney? From Putney all the way down to Henley on Thames. So 100K. It was I do remember good memories and bad memories. I don't think I was prepared enough. I don't think I knew I had enough insight in how, trail running, but I took it on anyway, just because you want to get out there and experience all you can experience from everything. But yeah, it was a Thames Path challenge.
Is that the longest? Is that the longest race that you've done, or have you gone longer than 100K?
It is the longest one I have completed. It is the longest I have completed. I did sign up to do a Thames Path again, 100 miler. And unfortunately, I didn't get to complete that one. I had to not finish that one, not complete it. But it was the longest I had done the Thames Path as a 100K. I've done a few 100Ks, but that was the longest.
So let's talk about long running. Let's talk about 381 days of running, a minimum of 10K. Tell us where I think, as Black people, we all know, but tell us about the day or the week or the month where you had the idea for it, and talk to us about what it was like to do a streak of that long. We'll know as a community that there was a period that you had COVID, and that as a community, we stepped up and helped you with your 10K a day for that. But talk to me about the journey around 381 and also, last Monday night when you did your final run on that streak.
Wow. So many memories. It seems the journey has been such a long journey. But when I did decide to do this, it was back June last year. And how it started out, obviously, was, Ahmed Avery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. And as soon as it got to George Floyd, I was so pissed off. I was like really angry. It's like, it was more like being hit. When someone drops bombs, is that this person, and then there's another one, and then another one. But that by George Floyd, I was like, this is too much. It's something you can't, like, as people, we can't handle that. So it just keeps coming and coming. I mean, we are used to our people getting injustice in this way, and you get it like every single year. Something comes up every single year, and at this point, like 2020, just seems to be constant. And considering we were going through a pandemic, and considering all the other things, being in lockdown and everything else, it's just like the emotions were quite high. Have you frozen? I think frozen. other people can hear.
Like, we can hear you okay. You're freezing a
Yeah,
little bit, but it's fine because we can hear your
yeah.
voice okay.
Okay, good. Yeah. So at that point, I was angry, and I was trying to figure out exactly what to do that doesn't involve being in a protest, mass demonstrated protest. Obviously, I was in Ireland, and I was in a very small town in Ireland that's full of white people only, and I was like probably one of 3 Black people that were there. I also had to think a bit more strategic in a way how to go about the protest if I'm going to do something, because I'm in an area where I'm literally like a handful of Black people. So that also played in my mind how I'm going to go around it. And then I discovered a nice speech, a really motivating speech from the gentleman, Eric Thomas, talking about 381 and the Montgomery bus boycott, which I knew about, but I didn't know in depth exactly how it played out and how everything went. So I did more research into it, and I said, right, okay, from what he said, I am going to commit to do 381 days of running 10K every single day. 10K just came out of my mind just because it seemed like a good number. At the time, it seemed like a very good number. Down the line, it was a very different story. Sometimes I thought in my mind, especially during the winter period, it's like, why the hell did you choose 10K? It was that you could have just chose 5K and just be like done within half an hour. But it has been the best experience I've ever done. The most challenging, the biggest challenge I've ever done. I'm not a fan of doing multi-day races, and this seemed to be like a multi-day event that kept going and going and going. But it's the longest I've ever done. It's the longest kind of streak probably anyone has ever done in history. Yeah, it's the most. I had to step out of my comfort zone. I have to say, it forced me to step out of my comfort zone so much in ways I've never imagined. And it still continues to challenge me to step out of my comfort zone, because I'm not only just running, but I'm talking to people, or I'm having conversations with so many different people about race, people that also would have never talked about it. But I am doing it in a way of showing positivity rather than just constantly like showing the negative side of just racism, and some people feel uncomfortable about it. But when I talk to them about the way, the positive side, where the determination and the strength, and that's why I'm doing this for. I'm trying to show a different side and take a different spin to it. People tend to take more to that than constantly just telling them this is racism, this is about racism. So it is forced me to think a lot more critical on how to do things and a lot more creative, which is quite nice. I guess it's a real nice positive. And so last Monday, it was quite emotional. I mean, it was emotional from the time when we finished the Ramsay Round. It was very emotional at that end. And then this side as well is really, really emotional. I mean, I haven't even released the photos yet. We only just done the photos, but just looking at them, it's, oh gosh, it's, it took me back. The journey was, it was a lot.
I mean, it was just so to witness you getting up every day and doing a minimum of 10K, because it wasn't all just 10Ks, you would integrate your 10Ks into bigger races too, was just so beautiful to see. And as you said, you know, it provided a conduit for communication around racism and what it is to be a black man, what it is to be a black woman, what it is to be a black person in the world today. And I think it was one of the most intelligent, I believe, ways to do that as a human and a human that runs that I've seen. As you and I know, you know, having been together doing the Ramsay rounds, you know, the conversations that can take place when you're in forward motion with another human, you know, can be transformative. And I think your run for justice, you know, the conversations that you had and the conversations that you enabled was a really important part of that education and learning. And certainly I think last Monday I couldn't be with you, but the photo of you with your fist in the air outside 10 Downing Street, you know, was such a powerful image, Deo. You've got to be so proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself? Are you, you know, are you pleased that you know, you got to that 381 days and what's next?
That question, yeah. What's next? I am proud. 100%, definitely proud. I'm constantly thinking, obviously, that there's a lot more that can be done. It's always at the back of my mind, to be honest. And I think that, I guess if I could have gone through those gates at 10 Downing Street, I would have gone through and literally put the nail down on in front of the actual door or 10 Downing Street. I would have done it. To be honest, that would have been more, in my point of view, I would have been more of a statement. I guess that's what would have been like. Right, I'm more satisfied here. So I guess that's why I'm like, in my mind's like, there could be more that could be done. I could do a little bit more. But I am happy and I'm proud that I got to finish. I've got to actually get to that point and get it over and done with. And to be honest, I think that I wouldn't have done it without BTR, especially that period when I was sick with COVID. I think I never actually got to thank you properly because you were the one who picked up that message when I put it through, and you just put it down to BTR and just told them that, look, I am sick and I have to, you know, let's put some hours in for me to actually get the streak, keep the streak going. Because at that period, I almost gave up. I literally, like, in my mind, I was like, there's no point. What's the point of continuing? Because nobody cares anymore. And then you showed, and BTR showed that it matters and people are out there, the people care. So yeah, 100%. Thank you so much, guys, for all that effort that you put in, for the support that you showed. And it's, it kept me going. It literally kept me going. It gave me more energy, it spurred me on to go and even push the bars a bit more higher. Not just to do 10K, but do a race. And, the 50K I did like a few weeks before we finished. It was like, it's also making a statement and to say, look, we are pushing, I'm pushing the boundaries. I'm pushing the, what people can do, not just what people can do, but what we as people of color can do. And even further is that what vegans can do, and even like a little more further, like that's what it was about. We can do a lot more.
And MJ has just commented, Deo, those armed guards looked agitated enough with you outside the gates, never mind inside the gate.
I was ready to take them on.
I'm sure you were. Now, Deo, it would be remiss of me to not ask you about being a massive part of the team for what is one of BTR's kind of biggest challenges to date, which is taking on the Ramsay Round. You know, you were on it from day one. As soon as we had that initial Zoom meeting, you were like, hands up, yeah, I'm in. Talk to me about why that challenge, why it was important for you to be part of that adventure. And what it was like to be part of a team of 6 black trail runners who bagged over 3 days, about 45 miles and 15 mountains. Talk to me, tell me, reflect.
Yeah. I remember the Zoom call we had. But to be fair, you're the one who convinced me, because I was like, I was counting like, oh, I've got another 10, I've got 10K here, I've got 10K there. By the time, I finish, that we do the challenge, I still got another 10K to do. Like I was like weighing it up in my mind, and I wasn't sure how to go about it. But then you said, well, you're guaranteed to get your 10K in. I was like, all right, sign me up. So I felt that, I guess it was more about having more than one black person in the trails, having not just more than one person, not having just 2 people at the trails, but now you have what, 5, 6, and it's like, oh, right, I've never seen this before, on the trails with like 6 black people. How are you even going to be perceived when you were there? Because you don't get that. I've not seen in the races that I've been at, I've not seen anywhere. And the message was always about representation. And that just struck the chord with me, just like, I am right there. I'm doing this challenge. It's all about representation. And this challenge is all about representation as well, but we're taking it somewhere different and we're presenting it in a different environment. So it just made sense to just say, right, not only because I started and also because I started the challenge in Northern Ireland, and also I was in England and I'm in Wales, and then I get to go to Scotland. It means I get to connect all the countries as well. So it just kind of like, things just kind of like the dots started to connect in a way. And the representation part is just the strongest message that you can put out there. So I was willing to go through, let's say, I was willing to go through hell to just deliver that message. Yeah.
And in a sense, we did go through hell to deliver that message.
Cold hell.
Cold hell. Hell isn't all flames and brimstone. It is clag, mist, for those of you that don't know, rain, wind, and maybe even Leroy Valentine skanking on a mountain summit. I mean, what was for you, Deo? Obviously, the documentary about our journey is being made, and the photos. We know that the visuals have already inspired Black people who have never been on a trail to trail run. I've been contacted, as I'm sure you have, with people who want to know more about mountain hiking, mountain running, Black people. What was during those 3 days that we did that, what was a particular high for you, a high point? And on converse to that, where did you really have to dig deep?
A high point for me, it came in, I think there's a few highs there was actually a lot of highs, to be honest. The first day, the one that comes to mind straight away is that first day when we were on the first summit, and we all kind of went down on the first summit, put the fist up in the air, and then I pulled out the, you know, the sign, representation matters, and we put it out there and took the photo together. That was a real high point, because it seemed to be like everything just aligned. The weather was good. There was no, there's no clouds. Everything just looked really beautiful. And all of us were there. I think, you know, only Nat was missing from that picture, but it symbolized that what we went to do. We had straight away, we achieved it at that point when we did that. And then as we went on, the relationship that we started to build as a team together. I mean, we had, you know, the connection already, but the relationship started to develop a lot more. And it was all seemed to be so beautiful. We come back together and we have we have a nice laugh. We weren't short of laughs anyway. He was always laughing. It was so good to see that, and so good to experience it. On the third day, which was also, I think, was really low for me on the third day, because I was sick on that day. I developed a cold and everything. My body was quite weak on that day. And of course, I came out straight away and I said, look, guys, I need some motivation today. I really needed that motivation. But I knew that in my mind, I'm gonna complete whatever the challenge that we're gonna complete, whatever way you do it. And it did. I dipped a lot when we got towards the fourth summit. I was struggling at that point. Obviously, I needed to eat some food. I was lacking on food, but it just felt like I was dragging my feet. We've been climbing. We had climbed Ben Nevis, and it took us like 4.5 hours just to get across. And it's like, I looked at my watch and it was like, it's 7K. I mean, we've been 4 hours and it's like 7K. I haven't even done my 10K yet for 4.5 hours. So
I can remember that. I can remember saying to you, looking at my watch and thinking, we must have got we must have got the 10K by now. And looking down, and it was 7K, and we were like,
It's like, oh man, it's like, this is the longest 10K ever. How can I not have been out there for 4.5 hours and still not even hit like 8K yet? So it was the struggle, and mentally, you've been on the journey that's been non-stop for so long. And, like in my head, I'm always doing like adding up things, but this time I would have finished at this time, or this time I would be here. And so my body naturally knows that, and obviously because of the journey I've been on, my body naturally knows when I finish or when I should be like relaxing and so on. So I guess when I looked down on the watch and I saw that time, and I was like, my mood went a bit low. So that played on me. But once you go up to the third summit, my body was broken, but we did that run from the third summit going down. I was really struggling, but I remember feeling really happy. I remember feeling like I was so struggling, but I was happy to be like seeing us running into the, going down, and you can see the fourth summit right over there, and we can go over that. So I was like, it picked up my mood, and we were happy and feeling good, but also kind of like struggling as well. So it's a bit of both.
Yeah. And we did the Lochaber that is called the Lochaber 4000s, which are the group of 4,000 summits.
Oh,
And then we decided that actually we had achieved that which we wanted to achieve, which was the representation mattered. We had ticked off 15 Monroes. It was never about getting the FKT. It was never about getting sub 24. It was always about representation in that area, on those mountains. And then we obviously finished our Ramsay Round at Steel Waterfall. And that will always hold a really special memory for me, because I can, I lost it, you lost it, we all lost it, and that's obviously been captured on film. And I can remember holding you and hugging you, and all of us just hugging, and it being such a spiritual community, together, like we've done what we set out to do. What do you hope the legacy of our Charlie Ramsay Round adventure will be?
I guess because we did, accomplish what we went out to do, and I hope that the legacy is that I'm always all about the next generation. So what I do is all about, representing and showing the next generation that we can be. There's people out there that still, making history. And it's not just about the old history, but we are still out here making history, even though it's not out there on the biggest scale. So I do hope that the legacy is that more younger Black and brown people can see what we've done and what we accomplished out there, and they can say, okay, these guys managed to go out there and did 15 months, and we can go out there and do the same or even better.
Yeah.
And then also that we can see at least more than 5 fingers crossed, more than 5 Black and brown people on the race.
Yeah.
And those kind of races, because we've said that, and they can see that we've been done.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on that. It's the inspiration of the next generation, because I truly believe that within the Black and brown community, within communities who are seen as minority, that there are elite athletes, there are mountain runners, there are trail runners, there are Western States 100 finishers, and winners. It's the inspiration and the representation that they need to see in order to believe I can be here too. And I think that to be part of a team with one BTR challenge, and there will be many more, was a very special place to be. Deo, we like to wrap these things up in an hour. We've got 9 minutes left, so I want to throw it open to the floor.
Okay.
If there are any questions that Deo hasn't answered that any of you want to ask, then just ask away. We've got 9 more minutes with the man.
Yeah.
And then we'll be leaving him to get on with his Sunday night. Not that he has to run tomorrow if he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, shoot away.
Yeah, Dee, I'll say congratulations again on truly sort of inspirational journey. I echo sort of Sabrina's comments that some of those images are just so sort of striking, and sort of the courage and bravery that you showed and what you did, the representation was really powerful. So congratulations again. But I don't think you quite answered the question as to what's next. So that's my first question. What is next?
You see how I try to avoid that question.
Yeah, and I'll give you a second one, Dee, whilst you decide how much you're going to reveal on the first one. But yeah, the second one is obviously in meeting you on Monday, so that your journey, the free AE journey, has been documented as well. Just wondering, could you tell us a bit more about that and when we could see that coming out and available?
Yeah. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so the free A1 journey is being documented, and we're doing a little bit of work on that. We haven't got a date when it's gonna come out or what's gonna be, involved in it. We did kind of the shoot on Monday, and that kind of helped to like give us outlook on how it's going to play out and how things are going to see. But it's still part of a journey that's moving forward, and how we're going to go about the direction we're going to take, because I think that the free A1 journey was just coming to the start line. It wasn't the finish line, it was the start line, to be honest. Just me stepping on the start line, as well as other black trail runners, other people who are involved in it. Like, it's just getting to the start line. So it's definitely, there's a lot more that's going to be involved in it, and how we can take it and push forward in the movement to get more people and do the representation piece. In terms of what I'm gonna do next is still up in the air a little bit. I'm looking at some runs which are coming up probably like at the end of summer. Of course, I have London Marathon, which I'm going to be doing in October. So that's already in the calendar. Big things to do are I'm still thinking about, and it has to mean a lot more than just stepping on the line and just running, because I know the journey I've taken to get here has kind of like it's changed me and transformed me so much more. So it's no longer just about getting out there, trying to put in the fastest run I can put in, but it has to have a significant message behind it. And so I'm no longer just stepping on the start line just because I want to step on the start line, but because I'm trying to put out a message out there. Yeah.
Wow, that's given me a like. Now I'm thinking about the races that I've signed up for, and I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't do that one. There's not enough of a why. I need a why. If there's any other questions that any of you have, please turn on your cameras, ask away. We're here we've got another 4 minutes, or ask in the chat. That's fine too. One question, we've got a lot of new people that have joined the community, and a lot of those people are brand new to trail running. What would be a piece of advice you would give to anyone that maybe hadn't been on a trail before?
One piece of advice is to enjoy the trails, you mean, yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's what, yeah. So if it was a case that somebody wants to really get out there, enjoy the trails, and really enjoy the trails, is basically think back as a child. For example, if you had moments where you had gone to do some walks in the forests, if you had gone to do some walks in the trails that you never thought about, but now start to think back as a child, like you go to run around those forests, and you've got to enjoy and experience. You was looking at nature in a different way. You was probably picking up things while you were there, and you was feeling the air blowing through your face, your hair, and all these little things that you was looking at as a child, but you probably forgotten now. is just think back to the moment. And every single time you go out on the trails, just remember that moment. You will always, always love running the trails if you remember that moment. That's the advice I'll probably give them. Yeah.
You're just a gem. You just light up my just soul with your words, your truth bombs. Deo, I'm so grateful to know you. I am so grateful that you are a member of Black Trail Runners. I think that there is so much more to come from you. And as a community, I just want to thank you for everything you do and that you are. And personally, I don't want to get emotional, but it would not have been the experience that it was in the Highlands without you there. I am so grateful to know you, and I cannot wait to be part of whatever adventure or whatever challenge that you plan, because I'm sure there will be more. And yeah, I guess I would just say as a final parting thing, for anyone that is looking for a teammate or some motivation or just truth bombs, this is your guy. So Deo, thank you so much for giving up your time tonight. And I can't wait to see you and spend time with you and run with you again, as I'm sure everyone on this call will want to experience that too.
Yeah, we will be catching up very soon. And thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to to join me and listen to what I have to say.
Thank you everyone so much for joining. This has been recorded, so we'll share it on the YouTube channel so other members of the community. But have a fantastic evening and even better week ahead, and see you all soon.
Nice one, dear. See ya.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.